So as soon as I stopped doing this one thing, I was able to stop my gambling problem. And don't get me wrong, I still play, but I don't have a gambling problem like before, and like many of you may currently have. But let's start by identifying the problem. Let's see if you actually have a problem. And I'm going to tell you how I solved that problem and how it can work for you. Now, let's figure out if you actually have a problem gambling. Are you, um, number one, do you owe your bookie money still? Like, has that payment been moved to the next week and the next week? If so, you definitely have a problem. Because I remember one of my buddies, like he was single, had a job. I was starting a family, and I was actually able to pay my bookie, but he actually wasn't. And so that right there, you just know that that is a problem. When you continually have to owe your guy, your bookie, then that is definitely a gambling problem. The thing was, he was really good at watching sports, calling sports, but there was a problem there, and it was just so obvious. The other telltale signs of if you have a gambling problem is if you're foregoing the things that you want to do in order so that you can gamble, or if you're selling your things so that you could pay for your gambling. These are problems. If you're getting money from somewhere else that's meant for something, and you're actually using that money to pay for what you lost, these are all signs of problem gambling. Please don't go there. Please don't be there. And if you are there, please listen up, because this is the key to preventing you from having that continuous problem. And the one thing that I changed about myself and what I did to solve problem gambling is I got rid of my ego. And this is probably the biggest thing that you will ever realize when it comes to gambling, is that you need to get rid of your ego. What does that mean? What does that mean for you? That means you need to stop thinking that you're the best at sports betting. You need to stop thinking that you know everything that's going to happen in this game and that game. As I was mentioning, my buddy who was having a gambling problem, he watched a lot of sports. He knew these teams. He knew everything that was going on. That was his thing. But he still was losing. And even if you know these sports and you got this big ego when it comes to sports because you know it all, you can still have a gambling problem. And it's not to be taken lightly. It's damaging for your life. So if you want to stop that problem, you need to let go of that ego. Stop thinking that you're the best at this game. You know what's going to happen. You don't. And I tell you this because I've seen so many people over the years, some that are good, some that are bad, some that know all about sports, and it doesn't really just come down to knowing sports. If you don't understand data and sports, then you definitely cannot come out on the winning end. And so how can you start how can you continue to play but drop the ego with sports betting? The main thing how you can apply this concept of of not thinking you're the best but still allowing yourself to play is by actually doing other things like learning learning how to beat the books, learning how to um, understand numbers, learning, and networking. That's it. Learning and networking. Learning more about understanding line movements, learning more about understanding the numbers and how betting actually works, learning more about odds, and then networking, getting with people that actually understand it better than you. And when you have this big old ego, you don't need anybody else. You already know it all. And what happens? Your ego gets you in trouble. You continue to do the same thing that you've been doing over all these years, and you'll continue losing and losing and losing and losing. You know, one of the biggest things that I've learned is that the guys who are actually really winning, they do not have an ego. They do not they've had so much experience that they know that they cannot predict this one way or the other. It's very difficult. They know that. So they would never have this huge ego like I'm the best, I know what's up. The ones who tell you that they're all about marketing. They have this huge ego, and I guarantee you that they are losing over the long run. They are losing. This is the truth. I've seen it. I've had apps that track people and all the and like on a mass scale, and I see it. I see all these losers, and you know, if you want to stop being one of those losers, you have got to drop that ego. You've got to start looking more deeper into sports betting tools that will help you actually make better decisions, especially with AI out there now. There's so many tools, and if you're not even looking into that, you're just missing the bigger picture here, because you're stuck in, you watch the games, you understand the game, you think you know this. That has nothing to do with the numbers when it comes to sports betting. So that predicting the outcome of the game, it has a lot to do with numbers. Why do you think numbers are involved? Even with the numbers itself, there's ways that you want to bet, not just like, oh, I'm gonna bet $100 here, I'm gonna bet $200 here just because I feel like this is better. There's actual numbers where you can where your win percentage doesn't have to be so high, but you can bet it so that you can actually still come out on top. That's math. That has nothing to do with knowledge of sports or the game. And these are things that I teach the community, that I share with you guys, that I'm going to be bringing tools to the market that will help you drop that ego, start thinking about other aspects of the game that will help you stop having a problem gambling attitude. Okay. So if you guys, through that, I also share my plays, and these are not my plays. These are guys in my network, that the guys that I work with that are really, really good. They don't have that ego. These guys are sharps, and these are guys that I work with, and I share some of those plays in my Discord channel. It's free to get in, so if you want to get in, just hop in. I'll put the link down below. All right, good luck in the books if you play. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.